It is finally Friday, and that means one thing: Friday night lights for the Lakin Bronx football team. Brett and Sandy Hendricks welcome you to LakinSports.com and Lakin Bronx Sports on YouTube for live coverage of Lakin Bronx football. All of the football action is brought to you by the KCB Bank of Lakin and Garden City, the Agency of Lakin and Garden City, your full-line insurance agency, Lakin Hay and the Lakin Dairy, Fred Ripsema, Shelter Insurance, Gwen Wechter, East Highway 50, Lakin, Flashbacks Diner, West Highway 50, Lakin, the Golden Plains Credit Union, Life with a Touch of Gold, the Lakin Recreation Commission, Lakin Drug, 610 O'Laughlin, Lakin, Shorty's Cafe, Main Street, Lakin, the Kearney County Economic Development, Ralph Goodnight, Pioneer Communications of Southwest Kansas, Hendricks Welding, Brad Hendricks, and D-Bach Metals of Lakin, player of the game, medal sponsor. It is time now to head to the press box with the longtime voice of the Lakin Bronx, Brett Hendricks, along with Jared Hendricks. Take it away, gentlemen.
And good Friday evening. Welcome to Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube, LakinSports.com. Brett Hendricks with you. Tonight we're in Goodland as the Bronx travel to Goodland to face the Cowboys. The Bronx 2-0 after a big win over Syracuse a week ago, looking to try to make it 3 straight. Not only to start the season, but 3 straight over the Cowboys here tonight. We had some rain all the way up here, ran out of it just south of Goodland. Had a few sprinkles when we got here. Clouds are starting to break. The sun's out a little bit. I think it's going to be a beautiful night for football, and I'm glad you're all with us here. Our pregame sponsor tonight, the KCB Bank of Lakin and Garden City.
Rural communities are known for their unequaled support of their hometown sports teams. KCB Bank can help you take it to the next level. We now offer Hometown School Pride debit cards, and these cards feature your hometown team mascot so you can show your pride each time you buy something. The best part, they're made right here on site, so there's no waiting for one to come in the mail. Get in touch with us right now and let us help you show your hometown pride. KCB Bank with 3 locations, Garden City, Lakin, and on the web under your favorite search engine. Member FDIC.
Big thanks to the KCB Bank and all the great sponsors that make Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube possible. We had a chance to talk to Coach Chris Bamberger before we got started here tonight. And the coach's interview brought to you by Shelter Insurance, the big red, white, and blue sign, East Highway 50, Lakin. We'll be back. I promise I'll spit it out eventually.
Lot of action on the street today, huh, Willie?
Yep. Oh, check out the German V8.
Good car.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ooh, 64 dream car.
At Shelter Insurance, we insure all your favorite rides.
Oh, classic convertible.
And have since 1946.
Sweet pickup. Hiya, Muggsy.
Yo.
From Hot Wheels to hybrids, we've got you covered.
Hey, mailman.
Love those shoes.
Hey, where you going?
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
And welcome back to Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Brett Hendricks with you. Thanks for joining us tonight for Bronx football as the Bronx hit the road to battle the Cowboys of Goodland here in Goodland. And we're now joined by Bronx head coach Chris Bamberger. And Coach, Bronx 2-0 for the second year in a row.
Yeah, obviously it's definitely the way you want to get started. We've talked every time. I think we've had a lot of issues that we needed to fix and kinks to work out, but early in the season, that's definitely something you anticipate, even if you have a whole bunch of veterans on the field. So, we've been able to get into the film and work on some things, and hopefully we can continue to improve week in and week out.
Well, one thing about it, though, I mean, a football team wants to be perfect, but you never have perfect. So I guess if you didn't have something to work on week after week, it's almost like, why are we out here? So, not that you want to have to do that, but, working on things week after week just makes a kid better.
Yeah, for sure. And that's just sports. That's just the way it goes. You go to practice and you have to do the boring things over and over and over. And the teams that can find a way to do the boring things the best usually can have the most success. And so that's something that we've been trying to get our kids to buy into, and I think they are. We've just got to continue to find ways to practice hard and improve.
And that's one thing about it. It doesn't matter what sports you play. It can be football, basketball, baseball, even golf. The boring things make you better. Hitting 100 shag balls makes you a better golfer, but it's boring as heck to do that.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to usually go pick them up. But,
Yeah.
It's the boring things that really do make a team better. Offensively last week, another good game on the ground. Maddox leading the way. So one thing about this offense that's multidimensional, not one guy is going to lead this team week after week. Coulter had the big game the week before. Armando had a big game the week before, but Maddox really came up big last week.
Yeah, and you know what? We just never really know going into a game. Sometimes we get a defense that we plan for, and a lot of times we get a defense that we didn't plan for. That kind of tends to be the case with our offense. Guys will line up in a lot of different things to take certain things away. And so, every week everybody has to be ready, because certain teams will say, okay, we're going to try to take this play away or this player away. And that's just football in general. But, we kind of have to adapt to the way that we call the offense in the game, and guys have to step up and be ready when their number gets called.
Through 2 games, the Broncs have been really rush heavy and over 400 yards of total offense in the first 2 games. But is that ever a game plan to get more into the passing game, or is that just something that you take as the game unfolds?
It's definitely something we take as the game unfolds. Obviously, we work it, but when we're throwing the ball when we want to and not when we have to is usually when we're playing our best football.
Exactly.
Everything's predicated around the run for us, and if we're able to run the ball, then we can do some more things offensively, throwing the ball. When we're predictable, I think that's any level of football. It's really tough to throw the ball because everybody can either pressure you or they can drop, and they can play a lot faster. So we definitely feel like, we like to try to open it up and throw the ball a little bit, but it will definitely always be dependent on how well we're able to run the ball.
Well, the thing about it is when you have a couple 100-yard rushers in a game, you're not having to put the ball in the air, so to speak. So, it's just like I was just more of a curiosity question because, there are teams maybe you think, okay, maybe they got smallish defensive backs or they're slow on the line or whatever. Well, maybe we might try to exploit them with our speed over the top or something like that. But, when you're very successful with the run, and like you said, Lakin's pretty much predicated on the run. But when it's broke, I guess don't fix it either.
Well, it's just been something that we've tried to hang our hat on, and obviously in Western Kansas, you never know how the weather's going to be either.
Yeah.
And so I've always thought it would be a really scary thing to know that you're going to have to throw the ball the whole game, and then you show up and the wind's blowing or it's really rainy. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably why a lot of schools out here in Western Kansas and this area play a lot of heavy run game, because you just never really know, and that's usually the kind of kids that we have in our hallways.
One of the drawbacks last week, and I'm going to say first half penalties, really, for one, took the flow out of the football game. Second half, it seemed like both teams kind of cleaned it up a little bit. But if there was any drawback last week from a big win, would have been the amount of penalties.
Definitely, and we felt like that was something that we struggled with a little bit in practice as well. And so that was something that we tried to emphasize throughout the week. Time will tell us if it has gotten any better or not, but that was an issue that we definitely felt like going into the game. In practice, we'd had, a little lack of maybe focus or locked in. We made some mistakes in practice, and, I think the old saying goes, right, you practice how you want to play, or, you do what you want to do in practice so you can do it on Friday. And so we're trying to learn that and trying to continue to put that on Friday and hope that we can clean those things up.
And a lot of times penalties are just a concentration thing, but you also sometimes with penalties, just have to keep a cool head because your opponent may just try to get under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, and trying to flush it next snap, and that mentality, because this, like you said when we started, it's never going to be a perfect game. We always try to coach a perfect game, and we're never going to coach a perfect game. We're never going to play a perfect game, and it's always about how you handle every situation. It's a situational game, and when you handle a situation well, then it puts you in a position to be a lot more successful. And so when things aren't going well, you got to bounce back. And our ability to bounce back is going to be extremely important.
Defensively last week, I still am impressed with the defensive, and they do it all the time, but the intensity of swarming to the football. a lot of the production Syracuse had last week, it may look like they had a really big offensive game, but a lot of it was in garbage time last week. But I think for the most part, against the ones of your opponent, your defense has really done a great job so far.
Yeah, for what the offenses are bringing at us, and Coach Pollard has a really good feel for the game, getting into the flow of the game and figuring out, how to call it. And I've been really pleased with our kids' effort on that side of the ball.
Defensively tonight, Goodland is a team that's struggling out of the gate 0-2, but it's one of those teams up in this neck of the woods. You can't take any team for granted. And, of course, they have Lakin Kier, and everybody knows about him. He's a big kid. He's just a junior. Colleges are looking for him, but he's going to be a big handful tonight.
Yeah, this football team, you can't just look at their record and say, oh, man, because they play a lot of good football up here. They play a lot of good football teams. They're in a great football conference. So they're a battle-tested team, I think, every time we see them. So, obviously, when you put that into play and then you take a playmaker like they have with the Cure kid, you create some tremendous challenges. And so they're going to create a lot of challenges for us. And, I'm excited to see how our kids respond.
Well, the Cowboys and the Bronx don't have a huge history, but in 6 contests, the Bronx are 2-4 all time, but more importantly, the Bronx have won the last 2, including a 45-20 win last year. Of course, you flush that. That doesn't mean anything tonight, but not a storied history. But one thing about it, these games up here have always been competitive.
Yeah, I think the last year we played up here, Cure's big brother was the quarterback, and
a final possession game.
It came down to a late possession game, and it was a great atmosphere. And I know Goodland's student section was loud, and it was cool. So I would expect, if we play well, nothing less, than that. That we're going to get their best shot. I know tonight's their homecoming.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a great crowd and a lot of energy on their sideline, and I'm sure Coach Mosier and staff have done everything to get them ready for tonight.
I'm sure they will. Weather-wise, we're getting into football weather. It's going to be cool tonight. Thank goodness the rain left us. But, Coach, as always, thanks for taking the time to come visit with me, and best of luck tonight. And when we're done, if you could come back up here, visit with us when we're done, and we'll wrap it up and we'll head south.
Will do. Thank you, Brett. We appreciate you.
It's a pleasure, Coach. Good luck tonight. Thank you. Bronx head coach Chris Bamberger, once again, the Bronx getting set to battle the Goodland Cowboys here in Goodland. Take a timeout. When we come back, we'll continue with our pregame right here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube, lakinsports.com.
A lot of action on the street today, huh, Willie?
Yep. Oh, check out the German V8.
Good car.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ooh, 64 dream car.
At Shelter Insurance, we insure all your favorite rides.
Oh, classic convertible.
And have since 1946.
Sweet pickup. Hiya, Muggsy.
Yo.
From Hot Wheels to hybrids, we've got you covered.
Hey, mailman.
Love those shoes.
Hey, where you going?
Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
A look around the High Plains League and what's going on around the area, brought to you by the good folks at Pioneer Communications.
They said this place was too isolated to call home. They said it was too remote to build a community. And then one day, a farmer strung a copper wire from one fence post to another and changed everything. We didn't build the communities of Southwest Kansas. No, we just brought them together.
And as always, full schedule of games going on around the area, especially in the High Plains League. Let's look at some scores from a week ago. Week 2, Stanton County traveled to Southwestern Heights, defeated the Mustangs 20-6, and of course our game right here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Lakin all over Syracuse by the score of 50-14. In 8-man games, it was Sublette over South Central 20-12, and Wichita County huge over Elkhart by the score of 88-0. I think it's pretty safe to say the Indians are a juggernaut once again this year. Week 3 game, Southwestern Heights is at Syracuse, a battle of winless 0-2 teams. Stanton County 1-1 there at Ellenwood. Ellenwood is 2-0, and of course our game tonight, the Bronx 2-0, Goodland 0-2. In 8-man action, 2-0 Buckland is at 2-0 Sublette. Elkhart 1-1 there in Springfield, Colorado. And a battle of unbeatens in this early going, Wichita County 2-0 at Hoxie. 2-0. What's going on around the area and the High Plains League, brought to you by Pioneer Communications.
They said this place was too isolated to call home. They said it was too remote to build a community. And then one day, a farmer strung a copper wire from one fence post to another and changed everything. We didn't build the communities of Southwest Kansas. No, we just brought them together.
This week at Lakin High School, busy schedule as always, every week busy at Lakin High. This past Saturday, the cross-country team traveled to Greeley County for the Greeley County Invitationals. The girls finished 5th as a team. They were led by Emma Miller with a 13th place finish. Ivy Davis finished 22nd, Luna Vasquez 24th, Abby Holmes 25th, Kayleen Tanner 30th, and Odelia Garcia in 32nd place. The boys finished 3rd, and they were led by meet champion Austin Ritzma. Austin running away from the field finished 1st. Alex Luce was 4th. Zael Bermudez in 18th. Justin Leader 20th. Gabe Cox 27th. Blake Matthews 28th. And Eric Munson finished 33rd. On Tuesday, the Lady Bronc volleyball team traveled to Southwestern Heights for a HPL quadrangular, and they came out on the winning side of it, sweeping their opponents, beating Southwestern Heights, Wichita County, and Elkhart. Girls golf was at Ulysses. Allie Mead finished in 3rd place with a personal best, 89, and Maya Brown finished 15th with a 111. Next week, cross country is at Hugoton tomorrow. Monday, JV football hosting Goodland. Tuesday, volleyball at a High Plains League try at Wichita County. Girls golf is at Satana on Tuesday as well. And next Thursday, girls golf is at Scott City. And of course, starting Sunday evening with the homecoming parade next week is homecoming week at Lakin High School. So as more events are scheduled, and if you want to see the schedule for all the Lakin High School events, check USD215.org. And they will keep you abreast, and we will definitely announce everything going on as well here during our pregame on Lakin Bronc Sports YouTube. Our starting lineups are coming up next.
Fred Ripsema established the Lakin Dairy in 1997 and is now a leading producer of high-quality milk for human consumption. The Lakin Dairy is proud to be a big part of the Kearney County economy and community. With fantastic, dedicated, and hard-working employees, the Lakin Dairy prospers in the heart of, as Fred calls it, the Midwest Feed Shed. Always supporting the Lakin High School students, the Lakin Dairy, a verified premium operation, is honored to call Kearney County home at lakindairy.com on the internet.
And here are the starting lineups. First for the hometown Goodland Cowboys. Once again, they come in 0-2 on this season. They start this way. At center, Herman Herrera. Well, I wiped out my numbers when I printed my lineups out, but Herman Herrera wears number 73. At strong guard, it will be Blair Lennon. Inside tackle, Luke Thomas. The quality guard, or the quick guard, is Nash Nachtigal. And the outside tackle is Rhett Ehrig. And the reason those are named differently is Goodland will go a lot with an offset line. The tackle will be uncovered on one side with 3 receivers this way. But it's going to be a little bit different of an offensive set for Lakin here tonight. At tight end, Lincoln Keir. He's a 6'6 junior. Has 13 catches on the year, 375 yards, and 6 touchdowns to lead the Cowboys. At wide receiver is L.J. Purvis. At slot back is Chayton Goodwin. The fullback is Michael Johnston. The tailback, Gavin Price, and quarterback Manny Gonzalez. And one thing Goodland will do as well, they'll have a 3-man backfield, and it'll be a direct snap. So really not a per se quarterback in the offensive set for the Cowboys. Now the starters for your 2-0 Lakin Broncs. At center, wearing number 54, Jayton Hash. At right guard, wearing number 52, Norian Cantu. At left guard, wearing number 65, Jeremy Orpeza. At right tackle, wearing number 72, Eli Bemis. And at left tackle, wearing number 58, Timmy Johnson. The wide receivers for the Broncs, wearing number 12, Drew Patterson, and number 2, Javion Granado. At fullback, wearing number 15, Coulter Oldham. At slot back, wearing number 1, Ross Ryder, and also at another slot is number 3, Armando Salcedo. And the quarterback for the Bronx, wearing number 7, is Maddox Beltran. The coaches for Lakin, Chris Bamberger, Chris Pollard, Travis Johnson, Wyatt Drew, and Bryce Simon. That's your starting lineups. When we come back, we'll look at keys to the game.
Fred Ripsimo established the Lakin Dairy in 1997 and is now a leading producer of high-quality milk for human consumption. The Lakin Dairy is proud to be a big part of the Kearney County economy and community. With fantastic, dedicated, and hard-working employees, the Lakin Dairy prospers in the heart of, as Fred calls it, the Midwest Feed Shed. Always supporting the Lakin High School students, the Lakin Dairy, a verified premium operation, is honored to call Kearney County home at lakendairy.com on the internet.
We now break for our national anthem. And the Goodland color guard with the colors and our national anthem. Now we'll get the camera reset, and we're still kind of waiting on a cameraman, or camera person. So we'll hopefully show up pretty soon. If that's the case, it'll just be a video only, and I'll just do play-by-play by video. So we'll wait and see what happens. So keys to the game, brought to you by Lakin Drug. At Lakin Drug, their mission is simple. They strive to provide professional pharmacy services with hometown hospitality. Lakin Drug's experienced staff leads with compassion and utilizes modern technology to fit all of your individual needs. Whether it's prescription medications or over-the-counter products, Lakin Drug has the answer to all of your questions. Lakin Drug at 610 O'Loughlin Street in Lakin is a proud supporter of the community of Lakin and Lakin schools. Getting set for kickoff here in Goodland. The Bronx and the Cowboys captains on the field as we speak, getting ready for the coin toss. wind out of the north, probably 5 to 10 miles per hour. It was 62 degrees when we pulled into town. It's going to be chilly when the sun goes down, but you know what? It is mid-September. It's getting towards fall, but this tonight is football weather. So keys to the game: Bronx back on the road. Goodland is an 0-2 team. I think the key to tonight is don't take them for granted. They have lost to some very good football teams, but you don't want to take them for granted by any means. Lakin has won the toss, and they will defer to the second half. Goodland will receive and defend the east goal to our right. Well, our keys to the game brought to you by Lakin Drug, and our pregame has been brought to you by the KCB Bank. We'll be back with the kickoff right after this.
At Lakin Drug, their mission is simple. They strive to provide professional pharmacy services with hometown hospitality. Lakin Drug's experienced staff leads with compassion and utilizes modern technology to fit all of your individual needs. Whether it's prescription medications or over-the-counter products, Lakin Drug has the answer to all of your questions. Lakin Drug at 610 O'Loughlin Street in Lakin is a proud supporter of the community of Lakin and Lakin schools.
We're getting set to start here in Goodland. Bronx and the Cowboys. The Bronx in their road white uniforms, purple letters and numbers trimmed in gold. Goodland in the home all blacks, gold letters and numbers trimmed in white. Back to receive for Goodland is Chayton Goodwin and Zach Dorson. Kicking off for the Bronx is Armando Salcido. Goodland 0-2, the Bronx 2-0. Live here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Brett Hendricks with you. Thanks for joining us tonight for Bronx football action. We owe a couple spots, but we'll work them in during our first quarter here. Our first quarter brought to you by Dirks, Anthony, and Duncan, LLC, CPAs, Main Street Lakin, Matt Medill. And for some reason, every time we start this, well, maybe it's my mouse. I don't know. We'll see here. So maybe it's just my mouse not working. So 1st and 10 Cowboys from their 33-yard line. Cowboys split with 2 to the near side, 1 up top. And a false start on the Cowboys to start this opening possession. That'll march them back 5. Still remains first down, but 1st and 15 for the Cowboys. Eli Bemis, Jaden Hash, and Norian Kentu, along with Javian Granado, the 4 down linemen for the Bronx. Direct snap to Goodwin. Off the right side. Brought down by Jeremy Orpeza. Drew Patterson in on the stop as well. And for some reason, my clock is not working. I don't know what the deal is. I test this before we get started, and for some reason, it does not. So a gain of 4 on the play. My down and distance is working, so Manny Gonzalez, the quarterback, off the right side. It's going to be a gain of 5 yards. We're going to bring up 3rd down and 5 for the Cowboys. And we'll try to, I'm going to reset this clock and see if we can get something going here. But, man, I don't understand. I test it, and back to pass. Gonzalez this side off the fingertips of Lincoln Kier, double teamed by Maddox Beltran. Armando Salcido as well, and that will force the Cowboys to punt on their first possession. I do not understand what's going on with this clock. So our clock pretty much is going to be inoperable tonight, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I can start it with the touchpad. I don't know. Punt off to the right side. It's a wobbler. And will go out of bounds, and the Bronx will have their first possession at their 32-yard line. But I do apologize for our clock issue. I don't understand it. Before I went on, I checked it, but for some reason, I have had some issues with it, and I don't know why. I don't know. So we're going to keep messing with it and see what we can do. But that clock is wrong. It's 10:31 right now, remaining in our first quarter. Bronx. And we've got a flag on the play. Offsides, Goodland. So Goodland, an illegal procedure on their first offensive play, now an offsides on their first. Illegal procedure on their first offensive play, now on offsides on the first defensive play. So the Bronx 1st and 5 here. 10:30 to go in our first quarter. We'll keep working on this clock. Like I said, I just do not understand what's going on with it. It runs, it'll go for about 2 clicks, and then it stops. Give up the middle. Oldham off the right side. Fights through the first defender. Gets across the 40 where he'll have it 1st and 10. So 1st down for the Bronx. I apologize once again for the clock, and if I can get it working, we'll do it. I just, like I said, I don't understand it. You test it, you get here early, and something still happens. So Maddox under center. Give is up fake up the middle. Salcido with a block outside, stops, and will fall forward to the 50-yard line. Gain of 8 yards on the play. 2nd down and 2. One thing I can do is keep the down and distance, I guess, but we'll keep working on it. The bad thing about it is I can't reboot my computer just to fix the scoreboards. So we'll just do the best we can. Bronx 2nd down and 3 from their 49-yard line. Maddox under center. Lone receiver up top, that's Drew Patterson. Ryder in motion. Give is to Oldham. And he's met in the backfield by Rhett Ehrig. That'll be a loss of almost 2 yards on the play. Be 3rd and long, 4 short 5 for the Bronx. Maddox under center. Ryder in motion. Give is to Coulter. He's across midfield. And he's going to be short of the 1st down. And I'll tell you what, the official on this near side shorted him by about 1 yard. He got to the 0 of the 50 on the field. But they're going to mark him at midfield. So 4th and 2 for the Bronx. And it appears they might go for it here. And they will. Tie formation. Under center, give this to Oldham. And he'll get across midfield and have the first down at the Goodland 47-yard line. So gutsy call on the first possession, but it's at midfield. So a lot of teams, that's not as big a gamble. So the Bronx moving the football. 1st and 10 from the Goodland 47-yard line. And once again, we apologize for this clock issue. I click it, it starts to work, and then it stops. And like I said, we drive up the middle. Keir in on the stop, along with Zach Dorson. Ross Ryder on the carry for the Bronx. Gain of 3 on the play, 2nd down and 7. So please just disregard the time on our clock. It is not right. Ryder in motion. Maddox fakes right. Throw is short of Javion Granado. Granado was wide open. Maddox did not have time to throw. Chayton Goodwin, and Logan Franz there with the pressure. It will be 3rd and 7. Maddox has about just a second to throw that football. That could be 6. Javion got behind the defense and was wide open, but Maddox under pressure couldn't get anything on it. So 3rd and 7. Give is up the middle. Oldham with it. Gang tackle. They were ripping at the football, but he's able to hold on to it. We do have a flag on the play. And I think it's going to be against Lakin. Illegal shift, Bronx. They had 2 men moving at the same time. So 5-yard penalty moves it back to the 48-yard line. 6:54 remaining in our first quarter. Still trying to get this scoreboard clock running. I don't know. It just locks up. I don't understand it. 3rd and 12 now for the Bronx. Maddox back to pass. Lofts it out there. Off the fingertips of Ryder. Falls incomplete. And with that, the Bronx will punt it from the Goodland 48-yard line. And I say they're going to punt. We'll wait and see. And they will. Ross Ryder back to kick. Back to receive is Lincoln Keir, the 6'6" tight end for the Cowboys. High snap. Ryder's punt, a high end-over-end kick. Hits, ball is loose. Keir picks it up. But right there to cover was Javion Granado and Drew Patterson. So a very dangerous play for the Cowboys as Keir bobbled, but able to get it back. And it's 1st and 10 Cowboys with 6:22 in our first quarter. Just amazing to me why this scoreboard does not work after I test it extensively before I get here. Because I know usually if I reboot the system and restart it, it will work. But for some reason right now, it's not wanting to cooperate. So I don't know. We'll keep messing with it. Like I said, I don't dare want to shut it down because then I'd lose the feed and got to rebuild one. So direct snap to Gonzalez. Takes it up the gut. Going to be just a short gain. Gain of 1 on the play. Norian Cantuan on the play. Jayton Hash in there as well. 2nd down and 9 for the Cowboys at their own 13-yard line. Not a bad night for football. Wind out of the north, well, about 10, maybe 15 at tops. It will get chilly when the sun goes down for sure, but still not too bad. Full house backfield, direct snap once again to Gonzalez. They fake the reverse, pass over the middle is complete to Lincoln Cure. Timmy Johnson on the coverage. Gain on the play is going to bring up 3rd and 2 from the Cowboy 20-yard line. This possession started from their own 12. Good one under center. Ball is loose. Recovered by the Cowboys, but a big break for the Bronx defense. Ball was loose. They recover it back to the 15-yard line. And that's going to bring up 4th and 8 for the Cowboys. Back to return is Armando Salcido near midfield. Good snap. Rugby-style kick by Jackson Miller. Salcido with it. Looking for room. Across the 45, across the 40, and the Bronx will have good starting field position at their at the Goodland 35-yard line. Armando able to fight off a couple tacklers. And about a 14-yard return for Salcido. Good field position for the Bronx, starting at the Goodland 36-yard line. Second possession for Lakin. Beltran under center. Patterson once again the lone receiver to the left. Busted play. And Maddox will get back to the line of scrimmage, but I think he turned and there was nobody there. Gavin Price leading the stop for Goodland. So 2nd down and 10 for the Bronx. They're going to say 2nd and 11. I'm going to leave it at 10. Granado, the receiver, to the near side. Beltran to the left, has an opening. He's across the 30, across the 25 before he's brought down by Lincoln Cure. And the Bronx with another first down inside the Goodland 25-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 24. Clock on our screen is not right, so I do apologize for that, and I think I'm just going to take it off for right now. I do apologize. I'll try to keep track of the score best I can. 3:13 and counting in our first quarter. Patterson split to the near side. Salcido in motion. Give us to Salcido. Kicks it outside. Has Kier to beat. Gets to the 15-yard line. Going to be a gain of 9. Going to bring up 2nd down and 1. Second down and 1 for the Bronx on this drive. Their second possession of this first quarter. Sun out bright now, but here in about 20 minutes, it'll be back down behind the school, and we won't see it for the rest of the evening, but a nice sunshiny evening right here. Tight formation, Maddox, give, Coulter, sidestep to the left. Nothing there. Maybe a very short gain, but those sticks aren't going to move. And that's going to keep it at 3rd and 1 for the Bronx. At the Cowboy 15. 2:11 to play in our first quarter. Clock is running. Once again, I apologize for the clock issues. I may just have to take this live score and just remove the program, reload it, I think. That's about the only thing I can think I need to do. So we'll worry about that before next week, but we'll just do the best we can. 2 receivers split to the near side. Salcido in motion. Give us to Oldham. And he's going to be short, and they're going to say just a very short gain. The ball will be at the 15-yard line, so 4th and 1 for the Broncs. Fourth and 1 from the Cowboy 15-yard line. Don't want to squander the great starting field position that the Broncs had here. Maddox under center, 2 receivers split to the left side. And a timeout called by Lakin. And with that timeout, I want to recognize one of the new sponsors here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube, Dirks, Anthony, and Duncan. CPAs, Main Street Lakin, Matt Medill. The experience of a large firm with personal attention that only a small firm can provide. Main Street Lakin. Dirks, Anthony, and Duncan originally began in 1999. Thanks to Matt Medill coming on board with us here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Fourth and a short one, almost just about the length of a football. But a big play for the Broncs here in the early going. 1:09 remaining in our first quarter. We have no score. Broncs will spread it out. Maddox under center will keep it, and he's going to fall ahead and pick up the first down. And I'll tell you what, the nose tackle made initial contact with Maddox right at the line of scrimmage, but Maddox able to keep the feet moving and turn and fall ahead. So 1st and 10 for the Broncs at almost the Goodland 13-yard line. .48 seconds to go in our first quarter, and the clock is running. Ryder in motion. He'll take the pitch off the left side, looking for a block, and he'll fall ahead for maybe a yard. Jeremy Orpiza, the blocker, out in front. So a gain of 1 on the play brings up 2nd down and 9 for the Broncs as the clock runs at 17 seconds to go in our first quarter. And the Broncs look like they're going to let it go. So that's the end of our first quarter. Our first quarter sponsor, Dirks, Anthony, and Duncan, LLC, Main Street Lakin, Matt Medill, CPA. Thank you very much for your support of Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Our second quarter will be brought to you by the Lakin Rec Commission.
It's time to get involved with the Lakin Recreation Commission, 702 North Campbell in Lakin. The Lakin Rec Commission with a wellness center, aerobics, adult programs, youth programs, sewing, and more. For more information about all the great activities of the Lakin Rec Commission, call 620-355-7039. The Lakin Recreation Commission, providing recreational opportunities to enhance the quality of life for the people of the community by promoting social interaction and the productive use of leisure time.
Still trying to figure something out on our score clock. So have a score from Ulysses at the end of the first quarter. Holcomb over the Tigers by the score of 14-7. So, like I said, still can't get this clock to run. I don't understand it. I click it to start it, and it goes one at a time, and that's it. I don't want to sit here and click it all night. So, like I said, I'm going to remove it, and we just won't deal with it tonight. I'll just do my best to keep track. Maddox from the gun. Ball was on the ground. Pass is complete to Ross Ryder. Lincoln Kier on the tackle for the Cowboys. Gain of 4 yards on the play brings up 3rd and 5 for the Bronx, deep in Goodland territory. We're just underway in our second quarter. No score between the Bronx and the Cowboys. Bronx will send Patterson wide to the right side. Maddox is under center. Salcido in motion, give up the middle to Oldham, and a flag comes in. And if I was to speculate, I'm going to say it'd be a hold, and it is. So that'll back the Bronx up. That'll make it 3rd, and the scoreboard has 14, so that'll make 3rd and 14 for the Bronx. A 10-yard penalty marked off. Clock will roll. 11:10 to go in our first half. Under 11 minutes to go. 10:55 to go in our first half. 3rd and 14 for the Bronx at the Goodland 17-yard line. Receiver split both sides. Maddox under center. And the give is to Salcido. Wrestles away from the first defender. He's inside the 5. Touchdown! I wasn't sure if he was going to get in, but the back judge right there at the line of scrimmage. And Armando Salcido with a 17-yard touchdown run to put the Bronx on top, with 10:41 remaining in our first half. Bronx will go for 2. Salcido in motion. Fake the pitch. Ryder hauls it in. Nice throw by Beltran, and nice. Actually, that was not Ryder. That was Drew Patterson. I keep forgetting Patterson was wearing Ryder's number from a year ago. So with 10:41 to go in our first half, Bronx on top, 8-0. Apologize for getting some numbers mixed up. I got 6 more games to figure it out. Ross Ryder wearing number 1 this year. He had number 12, and I just got used to seeing him in that. So, nice play to Drew Patterson. Bronx with the 8-0 lead. 10:41 to go in our first half. Always like coming to Goodland. I like the setup here. It's a little tight on the sidelines, but you get to be right on top of the action here. You know, of course, to our right is the Max Jones Fieldhouse, where the Bronx will be back up here in December for the Goodland Topside Tip-Off Basketball Classic. But a really nice setup here. I enjoy coming here. Salcido with the kick, high end over and kick in, drifting this way, taken by Anthony Rubial. Rubial back to the middle of the field. And we'll take it out across the 20, and we've got a late flag coming in at the end of the play. And a face mask called against Lakin. It looks like maybe just a 5-yard version of the face mask, but it's going to extend the return. 5-yard penalty gives the Cowboys 1st and 10 from their 28-yard line, their third possession of the contest. 11:34 to go in our first half. Bronx lead at 8-0. Apologize for the score clock. We'll try to get it fixed for next week. I think it's kind of a lost cause now. Brought down in the backfield was Manny Gonzalez, brought down by number 2, Javion Granado. A loss of about 6 yards on the play. It's going to bring up 2nd and 16 for the Cowboys. Ten minutes to go in our first half. And I don't know, maybe if I could just shut down my scoreboard without rebooting everything, I might be able to do that. I don't know. We'll see. Gonzalez from the gun. Over the middle, Kier goes up for it and brings it down. Lincoln Kier at 6'6", you can throw it high, and he's going to go get it. First down for the Cowboys at their own 41-yard line. 9:36 to go. I think at halftime I might try to just reboot my live score, and we'll see if we can get the score coming up for you. I might be able to do all that without having to maybe reboot the whole computer, because I'm not going to do that in the middle of the broadcast. I sit up here with fingers crossed most of the time anyway, so carry up the middle. Seeing all sorts of weird things on my computer here, so I don't know what's going on. I hope we're on the air and everything looks good. I have no idea. We are using my phone as the hotspot tonight. I know that seems to be working okay. So Manny Gonzalez, the carry to the near, no, excuse me, that was Jesus Salcedo on the carry to the near side. Maybe a short yard gain on the play, brings up 3rd down and 9 for the Cowboys. So, like I said, I hope everything's going well. I sit up here blind most of the time, but I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I just sit up here blind and keep my fingers crossed. Snap to Gonzalez. Looking to the left side is complete, but met immediately by Armando Salcedo. The play is across the 45-yard line, going to bring up a 4th and 5 for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys trailing 8-0, under 7.5 to go in our first half. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking everything's going. I got green lights on everything, so I think we're okay. Tight formation. Gonzalez spins, wheels to the near side. He'll throw it out and complete to Kier. Maddox went for the ball, missed it. Kier brought it in for the touchdown. A 54-yard pass from Gonzalez to Kier. Cowboys will line up 4-2. And Salcedo, Jesus Salcedo will take it in easily. And with 6:55 remaining in our first half, the Cowboys have scored to tie it up. We are tied at 8. Our second quarter brought to you by the Lakin Rec Commission.
The Lakin Recreation Commission has a full fitness room with 5 treadmills, tread climber, rowing machine, 3 elliptical fitness cross trainers, 2 stationary bikes, and strength training fitness equipment. You'll find just what you need for your own quality workout. The fitness room is open for the public's use free of charge during business hours. For use after business hours, Lakin Rec also has a keyless entry system available. The Lakin Rec Commission, always involved with the youth of Lakin, 702 North Campbell, Lakin, 355-7039. The benefits are endless.
Cowboys have tied it up. Bronx and Cowboys squared away at 8 apiece here in Goodland. Brett Hendricks with you. Thanks for joining me tonight for Bronx football. Ryder takes the kick at the 20-yard line. He'll take it out across the 30 to the 35. In on the stop for Goodland was Mons Mendez and Omar Hernandez. First and 10 Bronx from their 35-yard line. 6:50 to go in our first half. Pitch, ball is on the ground. Beltran able to bring it in. Dangerous play for Lakin. Thankfully, Maddox was able to fall back on it, but a big loss for the Bronx. Loss of about 8 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 18 as the clock runs at 6. Well, they stopped it at 6:45. Armando is in motion, offsides. Goodland jumping with Xavier Jackson. So Bronx will get 5 of the 8-yard loss back. Be 2nd down and 13 for the Bronx from their 33-yard line. And this time they do start the clock. I think it was supposed to have started the last play, but they didn't do it. Maddox under center, Bronx with a tight formation. Ryder off the left side, brought down maybe a short gain by Logan Franz. And it's going to be no gain. That'll bring up 3rd and 13 for Lakin. Six minutes to play first half. Like I said, at halftime, I'm going to shut our live score down and try to restart. Maybe we can get it to work after that. I tested it before I went on the air with YouTube just to make sure it was working, and of course it's not now. Maddox under center, fake to Ryder, rolling to the right side. Just gets rid of it. It was in the area of Armando Salcedo. So the incomplete pass brings up 4th and 13 for the Bronx. 5:36 remaining in our first half. Ross Ryder back to punt for Lakin. Back to receive for the Cowboys is number 3, Lincoln Cure. Low end over end kick should give the Broncs a good roll. Cure on the return, he did bobble it. Javion Granado quickly down to cover that punt, but once again, Lincoln Cure bobbled that football, so luckily there was a Goodland Cowboy there to recover it, because the official really had not blown it dead with that ball coming loose. So big defensive stand here for the Broncs, defensive opportunity here with 5:27 to go in the first half, tied at 8. Broncs will get the kick to start the second half. They'd like to go in even here or even ahead as they go into the locker room. Direct snap, roll to the near side. Michael Johnston with it. He'll be across the 30 to the 34-yard line. Drew Patterson in on the stop for Lakin. Gain of 9 yards on the play brings up 2nd and 1. Clock running at 5:05 in the first half. Receiver tight to the near side is Thorson. Gonzalez inside reverse to Anthony Rubio. Off the left side across the 40. He will have more than enough for the first down. Salcido in on the stop for Lakin. 1st and 10 Cowboys from their 42-yard line. Little misdirection play that time by Goodland. Picks up the first down. 4:35 to go in our first half. We're tied at 8. Gonzalez with the direct snap on the right side. In on the stop for the Broncs, Timmy Johnson and Jayton Hash. 2nd down and about 7, gain of 3 on the play. Ball just across the Goodland 45-yard line. Under 4 minutes to go now, 3:55 in our first half. Snap to Johnston. Rolls to the left side. He'll be short, just short of midfield at the Goodland 49-yard line. Maddox Beltran, one of the defenders on the other side. I kind of lost track of everybody on the opposite sideline. So 3rd down and 4 for the Cowboys. .310, clock rolling in our first half. High snap, Gonzalez looking to throw. Out in the near flat is complete to Anthony Rubio. And another Goodland first down. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys at the Bronc 44-yard line. Timeout-wise, Goodland has all 3. 2:55 to go in our first half. Broncs have used a timeout. They have 2 remaining. Gonzalez with the direct snap. Will be wrapped up in the backfield by Ross Ryder, also help from Coulter Oldham. Excuse me, that wasn't Oldham, that was Norian Cantu. So a loss of 3 on the play brings up 2nd and 13 for the Cowboys. Back to their Bronc 47-yard line. 2:13 to go in our first half. Second and 13 and a timeout on the field called by Lakin. That is their 2nd timeout called. They'll have one remaining. Goodland still has all three. 1:55 to go in our first half. We are tied at 8. Bronx are back home next week to host Cimarron. Next Friday night is homecoming. It's also alumni weekend at Lakin. A lot of alumni will be back. We'll have some fireworks Friday night as well after the ball game. But all the festivities of homecoming week start Sunday night with the homecoming parade, and there's something for everybody every night of the week. And we'll cap it off with a homecoming contest with the Blue Jays. Next Friday, we'll be on the air. Jared Hendricks and myself will be on the air with the pregame at 6:30, kick at 7. 1:55 to go in the first half. Cowboys 2nd and 13 from the Bronx 47-yard line. Once again, I apologize. Our game clock is not working. We'll work on that at halftime. Snap is on the ground. Gonzalez picks it up, scoots across the 45, gets down to the 41-yard line. Going to bring up third down, 3rd and 7. Gain of 6 on the play for Gonzalez. Like I said, with Goodland's offense, they start out with 3 backs. The fullback is Gavin Price. Usually doesn't take the snap, but one of 2 guys takes the snap. Gonzalez, the snap was on the ground. Javian Granado quickly on top of him. And that'll be a loss back across midfield. They're going to just in Goodland territory. So now 4th and 16 for the Cowboys as the clock rolls at 1:05 remaining in our first half. So good opportunity for the Bronx here to keep the Cowboys out of the end zone. Goodland looks like they're in no hurry. They're letting the clock run off, and they'll probably call a timeout. And there it is, the timeout called. Goodland with 2 remaining. Bronx have 1. 40 seconds to go in our first half. I thank our cameraman tonight, Brian Romero, running our camera for us. New student at Lakin High School this year. And after the timeout, Goodland 2 punt. Back to receive is Armando Salcedo. Line drive, spiral kick. Going to take a Goodland bounce. Salcedo will pick it up at the 4-yard line and will be forced out of bounds about the 10. Bronx will have it 1st and 10 deep in their own territory. So 1st and 10 for the Bronx at their 10-yard line. 29 seconds to go in our first half. Goodland with 2 timeouts left. The Bronx with 1. So with 2 timeouts, I don't know that Goodland would allow the Bronx to just take a knee. So I think they're going to have to at least try to progress a little bit. Maddox under center. Give us to Oldham. Tried to kick it outside. Nothing doing there. Got across the 10, maybe to the 12. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8. And looks like they're going to let the clock run out. 10 seconds to go in our first half. And we're going to go to the locker rooms. Same as how we started. We are tied. Bronx 8, Cowboys 8. Our second quarter brought to you by the Lakin Rec Commission. We're back with our halftime right after this. You're watching Bronx Football, Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube.
It's time to get involved with the Lakin Recreation Commission, 702 North Campbell in Lakin. The Lakin Rec Commission with Wellness Center, aerobics, adult programs, youth programs, sewing, and more. For more information about all the great activities of the Lakin Rec Commission, call 620-355-7039. The Lakin Recreation Commission, providing recreational opportunities to enhance the quality of life for the people of the community by promoting social interaction and the productive use of leisure time. LakinSports.com could not bring you Lakin High Sports without the continued support of our great sponsors. Thanks to these great businesses: the KCB Bank of Lakin and Garden City, the Agency of Lakin and Garden City, your full-line insurance agency, Lakin Hay and the Lakin Dairy, Fred Ripsima, Shelter Insurance, Gwen Wechter, East Highway 50 Lakin, Flashbacks Diner, West Highway 50 Lakin, the Golden Plains Credit Union, Life with a Touch of Gold, the Lakin Recreation Commission, Lakin Drug, 610 O'Laughlin Lakin, Shorty's Cafe, Main Street Lakin, the Kearney County Economic Development, Ralph Goodnight, Pioneer Communications of Southwest Kansas, Hendricks Welding, Brad Hendricks, and D-Bach Metals of Lakin, Player of the Game medal sponsor. Again, thank you, sponsors. Please let them know you appreciate what they do. Now, back we go with the voice of Lakin High Sports, Brett Hendricks.
Just want to let everybody know we are here still on the air. I'm working on our scoreboard, trying to get it working. So I do not know what's going on with it, but we're still working on it, so don't give up on us. And I've tried to shut it down a couple of times, and I've got a second live score tab here. I'm going to click on this second one and see what happens. So like I said, I don't know why all of a sudden when I hit the go button and start everything up, things decide to just go haywire. So, okay, we're going to reset the game. I'm going to reset the score. I will set it back up, but we're going to do that and see what we can do here. Okay, I got my start game tab, so like I said, we'll try. Start it. Start it up here. And we have it back on our scoreboard, on our OBS, so let's see what we can do here. So our clock, maybe I can get it. We're going to be started at 10 minutes here pretty quick. Let's see what happens. Oh, fingers crossed. There it goes. We got a clock. Oh, Brian back behind me. So it's all you, man. It's all you. Our halftime sponsor, Shorty's Cafe. They've got us on the monitors tonight in the restaurant. And I want to thank Big E and the good folks at Shorty's Cafe. And I'll tell you what, it's hard for me to talk about them when my stomach's growling here. But, the Corey Burger, the Tort Burger, you name it. Good homemade, authentic Mexican food on Main Street, Lakin. Eric Escabel and Shorty's Cafe. Appreciate their support. Definitely do. Halftime thoughts and recap brought to you by the Kearney County Community Development.
Kearney County, a wonderful life opportunity, offers a wide range of opportunities to residents and visitors. Hunting, fishing, camping, golfing, and bowling provide recreation, plus the Lake and Rec Commission provides youth and adult programs in Lakin and Deerfield. Explore the rich history of the county by visiting the Kearney County Historical Museum or the historic sites throughout the county. Take advantage of what Kearney County has to offer. Contact Ralph Goodnight, Kearney County Economic Development, or on the web at www.kearneycountykansas.com.
And welcome back to Lake and Bronx Sports YouTube. Thankfully, we got the now maybe I know I can go ahead and shut the scoreboard down when it doesn't work. My clock doesn't work, and we can get it rolling again. So I think everything's working now, so thank goodness. Oh, second quarter score, Holcomb on top of Ulysses by the score of 34-7. So safe to say that one's probably about over. Thanks, JD, with the update. Appreciate it. I thank JD for everything he does for us here on LakinSports.com, Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. All of our intakes, our outs, a lot of our ads. That's the voice of JD Ham, and I appreciate everything that he does for us. And due to some medical issues, not able to join us back here in the grandstands and the booth this year for Bronx football. But tell you what, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't be here with LakinSports.com. In our 17th year, I've known JD for 19 years as we got started with Hammer's Hometown Radio, the home of Bronx football, back in 2005. So, like I said, if it wasn't for JD, there would have never been a LakinSports.com. So, he's the one to thank. I'm just here to talk. So, appreciate it, JD. Thanks for everything. Our halftime thoughts and recap brought to you by the Kearney County Community Development. And looking at the first half scoring, Armando Salcido started it off with 10:41 to go in the second quarter on a 17-yard run. And then a pass from Maddox Beltran to Drew Patterson. And the two-point conversion was good, and it was 8-0. And then Goodland answered with a 54-yard pass from Aaron Gonzalez to Lincoln Kier. Jesus Salcido ran in the two-point conversion, and we are tied at 8. And that's where we stand right now here at the half. I was bringing up homecoming next week, and our sponsor for halftime here is Kearney County Community Development. And even though it's Kearney County, they are very big in the Lakin community. And a big event next week, of course, it's homecoming, alumni coming to town. But one of the big events next week is the Run, Drive, and Fly. And a lot of things going on Saturday for that. The run part of it is a 5K run Saturday morning. The drive is a car show that will be going on in conjunction with the event. And then, of course, the air show later Saturday afternoon at the Lakin Airport. So everybody go out and support Lakin and the community. A big event used to be held every year on Memorial Day weekend. and they decided to make it an alumni weekend thing and have it on homecoming weekend. So, like I said, homecoming festivities start Sunday evening with the homecoming parade, Sunday evening, and a lot of festivities all week long at Lakin High School and around the community to celebrate homecoming. Our halftime thoughts and recap brought to you by Kearney County Community Development. Ralph Goodnight.
Kearney County, a wonderful life opportunity, offers a wide range of opportunities to residents and visitors. Hunting, fishing, camping, golfing, and bowling provide recreation, plus the Lake and Rec Commission provides youth and adult programs in Lakin and Deerfield. Explore the rich history of the county by visiting the Kearney County Historical Museum or the historic sites throughout the county. Take advantage of what Kearney County has to offer. Contact Ralph Goodnight, Kearney County Economic Development, or on the web at www.kearneycountykansas.com.
Yeah, usually we would have an interview scheduled for this spot, and as usual, I didn't line anybody up, but our interview spot right here at halftime brought to you by Golden Plains Credit Union.
Refinance your auto loan at Golden Plains Credit Union. You could lower your current auto loan rate by 2% with no payments for up to 90 days. Rates can be as low as 3.25% annual percentage rate. This offer applies to loans financed from another lender. Think of all the money you could be saving every month. This is a limited time offer, so stop by and ask about refinancing your auto loan today. Golden Plains Credit Union. Life with a touch of gold. Member NCUA.
And a big thank you to Golden Plains Credit Union and all the great sponsors that make Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube and LakinSports.com possible. Now in our 17th year, bringing you Lakin High School activities. Halftime performance on the field for the Goodland crowd on the other side. Did hear them announce here at halftime and during the contest, 1973 football team in the class of 73 celebrating their 50th reunion this weekend here at Goodland. Thankful that we got our clock working. Bronx will have the kick to open the second half. Wind has pretty much died down to nothing. Flags across the way at the top of the grandstands, just barely even moving at all. So it's going to be chilly here in the second half, but thankfully the wind has gone down. That will definitely help. You must have got a good deal. You must have got a good deal. I'll tell you what, since we didn't have a halftime interview worked up here, I'm going to go ahead and play the laundry list that lists all of the great sponsors here on Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. Thanks, J.D. Ham, for putting this together.
LakinSports.com could not bring you Lakin High Sports without the continued support of our great sponsors. Thanks to these great businesses: the KCB Bank of Lakin and Garden City, the Agency of Lakin and Garden City, your full-line insurance agency, Lakin Hay and the Lakin Dairy, Fred Ripsema, Shelter Insurance, Gwen Wechter, East Highway 50 Lakin, Flashbacks Diner, West Highway 50 Lakin, the Golden Plains Credit Union, Life with a Touch of Gold, the Lakin Recreation Commission, Lakin Drug, 610 O'Laughlin Lakin, Shorty's Cafe, Main Street Lakin, the Kearney County Economic Development, Ralph Goodnight, Pioneer Communications of Southwest Kansas, Hendricks Welding, Brad Hendricks, and D-Bach Metals of Lakin, Player of the Game medal sponsor. Again, thank you, sponsors. Please let them know you appreciate what they do. Now, back we go with the voice of Lakin High Sports, Brett Hendricks.
And welcome back to Lakin Bronx Sports YouTube. We're at the half. Bronx and Cowboys tied at 8 apiece. They have run the 3 minutes restart, and I was a little late starting it, so I'll have to catch up. And it's still working. What do you know? Had something screwed up. Now I got to catch it up to 240. There we go. Bronx coming back to the field. Once again, next week is homecoming. Next Tuesday, Lady Bronx volleyball team travels to Wichita County for a High Plains League try. Girls golf. Next Tuesday, they will be at Satana, and then girls golf at Scott City on Thursday. Homecoming game next Friday, starting at 7 o'clock. Pregame 6:30 with Jared Hendricks and myself. And also be some post-game fireworks as well next week after the game. So I know we did it last year as well for homecoming, and looking forward to that. Hopefully the weather will cooperate. Halftime sponsor, Shorty's Cafe, Main Street Lake, and big thanks to Eric Escabel and Shorty's Cafe. Our third quarter brought to you by the agency.
Some commercials make it really tempting to buy cheap insurance. That's great if price is the only thing that's important to you. The agency believes cost is important, but protection is what you're really paying for. Rely on the agency to build the policy that protects your property at a price you can afford. Call the agency today at 620-355-6789.
And one thing that is cool that I noticed as it gets darker here in Goodland, the light pole right behind us at midfield, it's behind us for a change. Usually the light standards are in front of the bleachers. I don't get the light here, so I don't have to use my little my little hat clip-on light that JD so loves. So, yeah, don't have to bring out the desk lamp or anything like that. We're good to go. We can see everything right here from our perch here at the top of the bleachers on the visitor side. Not very high, really, but, you know, hey. Let's see. We'll run up our second quarter to the third quarter here. I'm just pleased as heck that our our score clock's working here on our broadcast, so. Doesn't take much to please me, huh? Clock has been reset to 12 minutes. Bronx will return. The opening kick of our second half. Bronx will be from our right to our left here in the second half in the road white uniforms. Once again, I want to thank Brian Romero on our camera tonight. Doing a great job. Ryder and Salcido back to return for Goodland. High end over end kick taken by Ryder at the 14-yard line. Looking for a wall. Brings it near side. And stepped on the sideline at the Bronx 33-yard line. Bronx will have it 1st and 10. Beltran under center. Receiver split wide, right and left. Give up the middle to Coulter Oldham. Met by a host of black shirts. Looked like Rhett Ehrig coming out of the pile, leading the way. Short game brings up 2nd down and, maybe 8 for the Cowboys. Excuse me, for the Bronx. From the Bronx 35-yard line. Pitch to Oldham. And Ehrig there to meet him. Will be a loss on the play back across the 30-yard line. Loss of about 5 yards on the play is going to bring up 3rd and 13 for the Bronx. Actually 3rd and 15. Just underway, 3rd quarter. Bronx with their opening possession of the half. Patterson split near side. Ryder in motion. Late pitch, Ryder near side. Slipped. Lincoln Kier on the stop, but as Ross tried to cut, slipped. Got a gain of 7 on the play. That'll bring up 4th and 8 for the Bronx. They'll have to punt their first possession of their second half. Lincoln Kier back to return. Back to punt is Ross Ryder. Halftime score, Holcomb on top of Ulysses 47-7. Oh, Ryder off the side of his foot, and it actually was out on the street. So now we are, well, I guess we have time. That's Lakin's football, so they'll get it back in here somehow. But hopefully he didn't take off and go home with it. So it will be Cowboy football as our clock still runs. I apologize. I was more looking to see where that ball ended up. It ended up out on the street. So 1st and 10 Cowboys from the Bronx 30-yard line. Jesus Saucedo on the carry on the left side. Gain of about 2 yards. Brings up 2nd down and 8. Yeah, I think Ross that time, I think the Bronx were wanting to punt it away from Kier, but it was severely off the side of his foot. Well, they're going to say 2nd and 9 for the Cowboys, so I guess I'll reset it here. From the gun. Picked off! Drew Patterson with the pick. Pass was intended for Anthony Rubio. With the toss was Chayton Goodland. And the Bronx with the turnover will have it 1st and 10. So the Bronx give up field position, but a big play by Drew Patterson, and the Bronx get it back. Good defensive play for the Bronx. They have it 1st and 10 from their 19-yard line. See if they can put a drive together here. If you're just joining us, the Bronx scored first on a Armando Salcido 17-yard run. 2-point conversion was good. Then Goodland answered on a 54-yard pass to Lincoln Kier. There was a flag on the play. I could hear some people in the background saying face mask, but we'll wait and see. Personal foul, face mask, Goodland. So face mask of the 15-yard variety. That'll give the Bronx a 1st and 10. Out to across the Bronx 35-yard line. Bronx come out in a tight formation. Beltran under center. Give us to Oldham off the left side. He's across the 40, falls across the 45. Lost the football, but it was after he slid across the 45 down to the 46-yard line. So another 1st down for the Bronx. First and 10 Bronx at their 46-yard line after the Drew Patterson interception. Give us to Oldham, near side, sidesteps across the 50. Will gain 5 yards. Well, they're going to give him out to the Goodland, almost 47-yard line. So good pickup on 1st down by Coulter Oldham. 2nd down, maybe 4. Short 4, long 3. Probably will go to the shorter 4. Clock is running, 7:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. Bronx driving after the turnover. Oldham up the middle, spins off the defender. That was Ehrig, and gets across the 45 and has another Bronx 1st down. First and 10 from the Goodland 40, just inside the 43-yard line. Bronx right here on this drive, nothing fancy, just line up and smash mouth football. Receiver split both sides. Give is to Salcido, cuts it back inside across the Goodland 40. Lincoln Kier making the stop for the Cowboys. He's across the 40 to the Cowboy 38-yard line. Gain of about 5 yards on the play. He's going to bring up 2nd down and 5. Just the 7th meeting all time between the Cowboys and the Bronx here tonight. Bronx are 2-4 all time, winning the last 2. Both of those coming at home the last 2 seasons. So the Bronx have never won here in Goodland. 2nd and 5. Maddox drops back to throw. Oh, and off the fingers of Drew. It will be incomplete. On the coverage was Paul Madrano. So that'll bring up 3rd and 5. 5:47 to go in our third quarter. 3rd and 5 Bronx. Rider in motion, the Bronx stop, but they're going to say illegal procedure against Lakin. So the Bronx now 3rd and 10 after the illegal procedure. And that's odd. They roll the clock on this play, but it was a dead ball because of the incomplete pass. Huh. I was thinking that the clock might have stayed stopped here, but so 3rd and 10 for the Bronx. Receiver split to the right side. From the gun, Beltran. Oh, and dropped across the middle, intended for Drew Patterson, and he had nothing but green grass in front of him. Maddox had to rush it, but it was right on the mark. If it was 4th and 5, I'd say the Bronx might go for it. But 4th and 10, we'll see what they do here. And the Bronx will punt it. Back to punt is Ryder. Back to return is Lincoln Kier. Good snap. A rolling punt to the right side. Kier picks it up. Beltran down there. Kier trying to fake. Gets away from a couple defenders before he is down. It'll be Goodland football at their own 7-yard line. Kier picking that up at about the 3. And a lot of juke moves and whatnot. Ran a lot of yards laterally. So 1st and 10, Goodland at their own 8-yard line. 4:59 to go in our third quarter. Bronx and Cowboys tied at 8. Last Goodland possession, it resulted in a turnover. Let's see what the Bronx defense can do here. Gonzalez with it. Manny Gonzalez, Chayton Goodwin on the carry for Goodland. And that gives the Cowboys room to work. 1st and 10 out to their 33-yard line now. Boy, that takes an air out of the defense right there with a play when you have them backed up in the shadow of their own goal line. See what the defense does here. Receiver split to the left side. Direct snap to Goodwin. Cuts it up the middle. And they've got some fireworks going off to the south of the stadium. A holding call called against Goodland. The Goodland crowd can see it. The Lakin crowd has to turn around and look. 10-yard penalty on the Cowboys. So a break for the Bronx with the penalty. That'll take it back. And it'll be 1st and 20. From the Goodland 23-yard line. Hearing those fireworks, we'll have some fireworks for homecoming next week at the conclusion of the game. Jayden Goodwin on the carry. Drew Patterson on the stop for the Bronx. Gain of about 7 brings up 2nd and 13 for the Cowboys. 3:52 to go in the third quarter. Inside give. Jayden Hash in there to affect the play. Timmy Johnson in on the final stop. On the carry, I believe it was Anthony Rubio. Yeah, it was. So 3rd and 16. There was actually a loss of 3 yards on the play. It's a big 3rd down play here for the Bronx defense. From the gun, and the sack. Javion Granado sprinting in from his right defensive end position with the sack, and that will definitely force a Goodland punt. I didn't get who had the football. I think it was Jayden Goodwin, but I'll tell you what, Javion Granado was in there so fast. It was like he should have been in the backfield to start the play. So a loss of 10 yards on the play brings up 4th and 26 for the Cowboys. As the punter, Jackson Miller, just outside of the Goodland end zone. Good snap. I'll tell you what, Ross Ryder is close. Salcido fields it at the 45, has some room up the near sideline, and he will be forced out of bounds with a return across the Goodland 35 to the 33-yard line. So 1st and 10 Bronx in Goodland territory. 1:52 remaining in the third quarter. Our third quarter brought to you by the agency. 1:52 remaining. First and 10 Bronx. Salcido in motion with the give. He is brought down in the backfield by Eric. Be a loss of about 2, 2nd down and 12. Second down, 12. Bronx with the receiver split to the right side. Give is to Ryder. Takes it inside. Brings it to the outside of the left side of the line. Going to be across the 30. We're going to give it to him at the Goodland 28-yard line, where it'll be 3rd and about 4, maybe 5. Big 3rd down play for the Bronx right here. 3rd and 5. Tight formation, give us to Oldham. Kicks it off the left end and is across the 25 and has the first down for the Bronx. Bronx with another first down. Good drive for Lakin. Bronx may not even need to get a play off here, but they do break huddle. 12 seconds to go in the quarter. Tight formation. Salcido in motion. And the Bronx will let it run. That's the end of the third quarter. Our third quarter brought to you by the agency of Lakin and Garden City. We're back right after this.
Some commercials make it really tempting to buy cheap insurance. That's great if price is the only thing that's important to you. The agency believes cost is important, but protection is what you're really paying for. Rely on the agency to build the policy that protects your property at a price you can afford. Call the agency today at 620-355-6789.
Our fourth quarter brought to you by Flashbacks Diner.
Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin. Fantastic burgers, Coney and Chicago hot dogs, Philly, steak, BLT, and chicken sandwiches, along with ice cream treats like the traditional banana split, sundaes, shakes, malts, and cones. Dine in or carry out. Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at the one and only fantastic Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin.
And once again, want to thank all the great sponsors that have supported us as we start our 17th year of broadcasting here on Lakin Bronx Sports, YouTube, LakinSports.com. First and 10 for the Bronx at the Goodland 22-yard line as we start our fourth and final quarter. Brett Hendricks with you. I want to thank our cameraman, Brian Romero. Good job tonight for us. It's not really as cold here tonight, and thankfully the wind is just non-existent, but it's just that damp cold tonight. A lot of moisture in the air. So here we go. Bronx to open the fourth quarter. Bronx and Cowboys tied at 8. First and 10 from the Goodland 22-yard line. From the gun, Beltran rolling to the near side, and a flag on the play, and that's going to be a hold against the Bronx. Just because of where it was thrown, you knew what that was going to be. So that'll be from the line of scrimmage. It'll be first and 20 for the Bronx. Now in a play like that, I would have liked to have seen the Bronx not having Maddox be the primary runner, but having him maybe the roll out with the run pass option, an RPO, but Maddox from the gun, bobbles the snap, and he will be sacked for a loss. And the ball was loose. Goodland recovers. The Bronx have a player down. That is Norian Cantu, but he's being stretched for a cramp. So timeout on the field. So a huge play in this football game. Goodland had turned it over once. Now the Bronx turn it over in Goodland territory. They were driving. As we have timeout on the field. And tonight's kind of the night that you would see cramps. You know, a lot of times people would think, oh, you'll see it when it's real hot. It's these damp evenings. A lot of times you start seeing the cramps. And they run a water bottle out to him. And as Jared did say, bring him the pickle juice. Couple of Bronx players during this timeout getting stretched out. push that connection in. Make sure that connection's, no, the front. Make sure it's in tight. I think we're okay. If I have to, I'll tape it in there. So 1st and 10, Goodland from their 40-yard line. From the gun, with it is Michael Johnston. Brought down by Ross Ryder, a gain of about 6 yards on the play. Going to bring up 2nd down and 4 for the Cowboys. I got out of my seat here. Now see if I can slide back in. Goodwin with it. Once again, a direct snap to one of the backs in the backfield. They have 2 back there. The defense never knows which one's going to get it. So 3rd down and 2 after a gain of 2. Third and 2 for the Cowboys. Tight formation. Snap is to Goodwin. And he's going to be swarmed on the right side. He's going to lose some yardage. Leading the way is Javion Granado. Jeremy Orpiza in there. Eli Bemis in there as well. So a loss of about 4 yards brings up 4th and 6 for the Cowboys. And they will drop back to punt. Back to punt is Jackson Miller. Armando Salcedo back to return for the Bronx, standing at about his 18-yard line. Gets the punt away, low, and it's on the ground. Salcedo picks it up, started right, and he's going to be tackled after a short return. But the Bronx do have the football. That's the important thing. No turnover, and the Bronx football with 9:45 remaining. 4th quarter brought to you by Flashbacks Diner. 9:45 to go. 1st and 10 Bronx from their 20-yard line. Now's when you'd like to see a long, sustained drive. Bronx have been able to move the football, but they've had mistakes that have halted drives. Now's the time you need a mistake-free drive right here. Patterson split to the left side. Maddox under center. Give is to Oldham off the left side. Brought down by Logan Franz. Gain of just 1 on the play brings up 2nd down and 9. Bronx still in the huddle. And somebody on the other side has their headlights on, and it is right directly in my eye. Bronx do just get the play off. Up the gut was Colter Oldham. And of course you can see it on the screen as well, that those headlights right into our eyes here. Not really affecting anything on the field, but Bronx a big 3rd down with under 8.5 to play in the ball game. 3rd down and 4. They send Javian Granado wide to the near side. Give is to Ryder. Pushes through the first defender, gets nearly to the 30, but he's going to be short of the 1st down. Ross Ryder on the carry. 4th and 1 for the Bronx. Clock is running, under 8 minutes to go. I'm going to say they sent the play in. And they will drop back the punt. I was curious to see if maybe if the Bronx had that gambling mentality here. Probably the safe play. Snap was on the ground. Low end over end kick. Kier fields it, loses it. Ball is loose, and I think at first the Bronx I thought had it. Bronx are pointing. I think Goodland may have gotten it back, honestly. And Goodland does get it back. I'll tell you what, Lakin player was right there, and that was Eli Bemis, I think. And I think it just kind of squirted underneath him. And you never know, in the pile, there's a lot of things that happen in a pile. But, so, Goodland, 1st and 10 from their 45-yard line. Defense going to have to dig in again. Bronx almost coming up with the turnover there. So the Bronx defense, time to dig in again. 7:21 to go in the ball game. 1st and 10 Cowboys. Direct snap. Ross Ryder that time on Chayton Goodwin. Going to be a loss of 1. Brings up 2nd down and 11. And you can hear the fans behind me in the stands here. Definitely a tense time here at Cowboy Field. If that's in fact what they call it. I will here anyway. 2nd down and 11. 6:50 remaining. Goodwin back to throw. Intended for Kier. Broken up by Timmy Johnson. And a timeout. Another Bronx player down with a cramp. Seen quite a few cramps in this second half. Not as much in the first half, but like I said, this cool, damp air here tonight. And a timeout on the field. With that timeout, we're going to take one as well. Our 4th quarter brought to you by Flashbacks Diner.
Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin. Fantastic burgers, Coney and Chicago hot dogs, Philly, steak, BLT, and chicken sandwiches, along with ice cream treats like the traditional banana split, sundaes, shakes, malts, and cones. Dine in or carry out. Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Sox at the one and only fantastic Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin.
Still a timeout on the field. And Timmy Johnson back up on his feet. So 3rd and 11 for the Cowboys. Three receivers to the right side, one to the near side. Zach Dorson rolling to the right. Will be brought down after a short gain of a maybe 3. Over on that side was Coulter, along with Jayton Hash chasing down the line. That'll bring up 4th down and 8 for the Cowboys after a gain of 3 yards on the play. And looks like they're sending the punting unit on. With 6 minutes to play in our 4th quarter. Salcido back to return. Jackson Miller to kick for the Cowboys. Punt is on the ground, takes a good hop. Salcido fields it and will be dropped immediately after a short gain. But the Broncs have it with 5.5 to play. And we are tied at 8. Broncs ball 1st and 10 from their 13-yard line. Well, I wanted to sustain drive the last possession. I really want one now. 5:31 to play. Broncs break the huddle. One receiver to the near side. That is Javion Granado. Beltran under center. Give is to Oldham. Coulter on the carry, maybe 3. I'll bring up 2nd and 7. Under 5 minutes to play. Broncs come out in a tight formation. Ryder started in motion. Broncs will reset. Give is to Oldham off the right side. And the gain is good for a 1st down. The clock is not rolling. Was that? There it's going. I was going to say, man, Misdirection play by the Bronx. Goodland there to stuff it up the middle. Ross Ryder on the carry. Short loss. We're going to call it 2nd and 10. Irigan on the stop for Goodland. Second and 11 for Lakin. Pass down the middle. Ross Ryder got it! He's at the 40, the 30. He bobbled, but he brings it back in. Touchdown! Lakin. "77-yard touchdown pass from Maddox Beltran to Ross Ryder. Holy cow. And the Bronx will line it up for the extra point attempt. Will they kick or will they go for 2? And they will line up and go for 2. Timeout on the field, called by Lakin. And with that one, I'm going to catch my breath and take another timeout. Flashbacks, our fourth quarter sponsor.
Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin. Fantastic burgers, Coney and Chicago hot dogs, Philly, steak, BLT, and chicken sandwiches, along with ice cream treats like the traditional banana split, sundaes, shakes, malts, and cones. Dine in or carry out. Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at the one and only fantastic Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin.
.336 to play in our fourth quarter. The Bronx, after a 73-yard touchdown pass from Maddox Beltran to Ross Ryder. Bronx lead it by 6, and they'll line up and go for 2 here. Bronx with the reverse pass, and the pass is short. The pass was intended for Patterson. Nice play call, honestly, but the pass didn't give Maddox a chance at it at all. But so with 3:36 to play, Bronx on top. They lead at 14-8. Holcomb was up on Ulysses with a running clock in the fourth, 54-7. So Holcomb with the win tonight. Bronx getting set to kick. Armando Salcido to kick for the Bronx. Back to receive. Can't really tell the numbers. I think that's Chayton Goodwin and maybe Anthony Rubio or Jesus Salcido maybe. Can't really tell. Salcido to the football. Squibber to the far side. Ball is loose on the ground. Picked up by Rubio. Looking for an opening. And a good return out to the Goodland 33-yard line where the Cowboys will have it 1st and 10. And we've got a whistle on the far side. I don't know. Is there a player down? Don't see anything. They did not start that clock very well. On a return like that, only 4 seconds went off the clock. I'll reset it to 3:32. And the Cowboys with it 1st and 10 from their own 30, looks like the 34-yard line. 2 receivers split to the near side, 1 to the far side. Pass near side. And that flag in the backfield that's going to be a pass interference on Lakin, and you haven't thrown that all night long, and now you're going to drop it. I didn't see anything other than a double team against the receiver. So a 15-yard penalty will give Goodland the 1st down at about their 48-yard line. So a big call at this point of the contest. Timeouts. Goodland has all 3 of theirs. Bronx have 2 remaining. 3:26 on the clock. 1st and 10 Goodland from their 49. Zach Thorson with the snap. Looking to throw. Complete to L.J. Purvis. And a Bronx player down with a cramp once again. I did not see who was in on the tackle for the Bronx, but that's the player on the ground with the cramp. So Goodland, 2 plays, have it 1st and 10 from the Bronx 14-yard line. A lot of cramps tonight for the Bronx. Hydration will be key for next week for sure. 3:16 on the clock. Bronx with a huge play to take the lead. Goodland wasting no time down the field. Boys are going to need a lot of pickle juice and mustard next week. Another break in the action. That was Timmy Johnson. Again, he's going to have to come off for a play. First and 10 Cowboys. Clock will run on the official's whistle. And an offsides call against Lakin, and all of a sudden, Bronx kind of falling apart on this drive right here. So 1st and 5 for the Cowboys from the Bronx 9-yard line. Defense has answered the call tonight. Let's see if they do it here. Inside reverse. Jesus Salcedo on the carry. Second and 1 from the Bronx 5-yard line as the clock runs at 2:22 in our contest. Bronx with the 6-point lead. Give up the middle. With it was Michael Johnston. Will be 1st and goal for the Cowboys at their Bronx 3-yard line as the clock rolls at 2 minutes. Bronx have 2 timeouts, Cowboys have 3. Snap is to Goodwin. Nowhere to run on the far side. Forcing the play was Jeremy Orpiza. Clock continues to run. 2nd and goal from the 2, a short gain of 1 on the play. 1:20 to go. Goodland still has 3 timeouts, the Bronx with 2. Goodland might take their time and let the clock run here and take a timeout. Okay, so with 54 seconds to go, Goodland calls timeout. It will be 2nd and goal from the Bronx 2. As it was the last time these 2 teams met here in Goodland 3 years ago, it came down to a final possession. And it's very much looking like that here tonight. 54 seconds to go. Goodland football, 2nd and goal from the Bronx 2-yard line. Lakin with the 14-8 lead. The problem with the score right now is the Bronx failed on their 2-point conversion. So Goodland would only have to attempt an extra point if, in fact, they would score. So a lot of things happening here. But first, we've got 2 yards to settle this thing. 2nd and goal from the 2. Goodland with a receiver split to the right side. Snap was on the ground. And the touchdown. Chayton Goodwin able to pick it up and squirt around the right side and score the Goodland touchdown. And let's see. And I did stop the clock. So 49.6 seconds to go. We are tied at 14. A big conversion here. It almost looks like they might go for 2. And they will. Bronx need to pay attention to one target here, and that's the 6'6" Lincoln Cure. And a timeout called by Goodland, their 2nd. They have 1 remaining, 49.6 seconds to play. Ball at the 3-yard line. Goodland appeared to go for 2 before the timeout. Once again, thank Brian Romero on our camera tonight. And here we go. Tied at 14, Goodland will go for 2. Direct snap, and he's in. With it was Goodland. Bronx have 2 timeouts. Will receive the ensuing kickoff here. Bronx have that quick strike ability as well, as witnessed by that pass to Ross Ryder with 3:36 to go just a few minutes ago. Salcido and Ryder, the deep men. Granado and Alex Robles, the up men. Ball is on the ground. Oldham bobbled and will be downed at the Lakin 35-yard line. So 1st and 10 Bronx from their 35-yard line. 44.8 seconds to go. Timeout called by Goodland. So they are out of timeouts. First and 10 Bronx from their 35-yard line. They do have 2 timeouts remaining. Give is to Salcido, looking to cut in, nothing doing. And he will be brought down for a loss. The Bronx with a quick timeout. So a loss of about 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 14. 38.2 seconds remaining. Bronx with it, 2nd and 14. Bronx with receiver split both sides. Maddox from the gun. Got to get rid of it. And he will be sacked, and the Bronx will take a timeout. Ramon Herrera with the sack. So the Bronx with their 2nd timeout, they have 1 remaining. And that loss is back to the 25-yard line. The 3rd and 19 for the Bronx. So Bronx bring it to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 19 with 29 seconds to go. They are out of timeouts. Maddox rolls to the left side. Pass broken up on the far side, intended for Oldham. That was going to be well short of the first down if he would have even gotten back to the original line of scrimmage. So here it is. Game right here, 4th and 19 with 24 seconds to play. Cowboys have 4 defensive backs 15 yards off the line of scrimmage. Now they're going to scoot them a little bit closer. But the Bronx, if ever needed a prayer answered, this is the time right here. Maddox from the gun. And the Bronx with a delay of game. Bad spot for a delay of game. Now it makes it 4th and 24. Bronx line right now just needs to give Maddox time to throw. Bronx will send 2 receivers to the right, to the far side now. Salcito, Granado to the near side. Maddox from the gun. Pass was knocked down. And Goodland will take over on downs. That will go as an incomplete pass. But Goodland will take over on downs and will win their first game of the season. And with that, the Bronx will suffer their first loss and fall 2-1 on the season. Goodland will just take a knee. And that'll do it. Goodland's going to win it. by the score of 16-14. Good effort by both teams. But this one will go down for the Broncs when they look back at this one. A night of squandered opportunities. Goodland will win it by the score of 16-14. Goodland improves to 1-2 on the season. Broncs will fall to 2-1. And now we'll get set for Cimarron next week for homecoming. Our fourth quarter brought to you by Flashbacks.
Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin. Fantastic burgers, Coney and Chicago hot dogs, Philly, steak, BLT, and chicken sandwiches, along with ice cream treats like the traditional banana split, sundaes, shakes, malts, and cones. Dine in or carry out. Flashback to the days of Bebop and Bobby Socks at the one and only fantastic Flashbacks Diner, Highway 50, Lakin.
Our post-game thoughts and recap brought to you by Hendricks Welding.
Oh, this stupid When it's time to do that welding, don't do it yourself and make a mess out of it. Call Hendricks Professional Welding Service in Lakin. On the farm, on the ranch, or at your place, or at Hendricks Welding 3 miles west of Lakin. Welding done right the professional way. Call Brad Hendricks of Hendricks Welding at 355-6734. That's Hendricks Welding. Don't do it yourself and make a mess. Just call old Brad.
What a tough one. Tough one from here in Goodland tonight. Broncs took an 8-0 lead, only to have Goodland come back and tie it at 8. That's where we stood at the end of first 2 quarters. Broncs with 3:36 remaining retook the lead on a 73-yard pass from Beltran to Ross Ryder. But Goodland, in about 4 plays, drove it back down the field, got the 2-point conversion, and win it by the score of 16-14. Tough night for the Broncs here as the fans pour out of the stands, and a lot of long faces as they leave. And you know what? They'd look up here at me and they're going to see the same thing. Very difficult loss for the Broncs because, like I said, it's one of those games, some missed opportunities. So Lakin loses it 16-14. I may have announced that wrong, but earlier. But Broncs will go to 2-1 on the season, and we'll talk to Bronc head coach Chris Bamberger here real quick as the players leave their end zone post-game huddle. For a fan of, just for a football fan, what a great game. As a Lakin fan, sorry, it hurts, it stinks. I don't like it, but hey. But as coach comes up, we'll also have our player of the game, and I think our player of the game tonight is going to be Ross Ryder. And we'll have Coach Bamberger give him the medallion. Our player of the game brought to you by D-Bach Metals. Dwayne with the That's the Bronx taking that slow walk to the locker room. And definitely the 2-hour trip home is going to seem a lot longer for all of us. But like I said, still, it was, as far as a football fan, a great game to watch. Like I said, for the Bronx, some missed opportunities. And get back to it, and get set for homecoming next week with Cimarron. So I'm going to go ahead and start shutting a few things down, waiting for Coach to come up and visit with us, and we'll get going as well. But unfortunately, the Bronx come up short tonight. And Coach is up here with us, and now we're joined by Bronx head coach Chris Bamberger. And Coach, we talked in our pregame, games up here at Goodland usually come down to a last possession, and very much happened to the Bronx again tonight. I made the comment, as far as a football fan, this was about as good a football game as you would want to watch, but as far as Bronx fans goes, this one really hurts.
All too familiar, isn't it, Brett, from the last time we came up here?
Sadly, yes.
It looks really familiar. We had a good big play, and then we just slipped up on defense, and they took advantage of it, but it was a good football game.
The kids, I'll tell you what, the defense, numerous times, Goodland had opportunities. The defense stood tall. And I don't know, it's to me that this defense is almost going to become the cornerstone of this football team. The bad thing about it, though, you can only ask the defense to keep making plays so many times. And that last drive, I tell you what, it just was a blur, really. It just was, it just happened so quick. But I really think I'm proud of the defense, and I would think you are too, of the countless opportunities that they took advantage of tonight.
Yeah, and I think going into the season, we thought the defense could be a strong point for us. We returned so many guys on the defense, and we felt really good about the guys that were coming in on front and up front. And so, definitely one thing that something to build on with those guys there. I know Goodland, come out and was wanting to run the ball, and I feel like we hung in there pretty solid against the run. And obviously, when you have a big playmaker like they have, I think we told you, said it at the beginning, and he's going to get his. And the couple that he got, they hurt us pretty good in that pass interference that kind of flipped the field right there at the end.
Yes, it did.
Was kind of tough, but you know what? I hope that our boys grew from this. This was a tough football game, and I hope that our boys will grow from it and learn from it, because we got a lot of good football ahead of us.
And you talk about Lincoln Kier. He got his place tonight, but I think overall the defense really did a good job on him tonight, other than a couple big plays. But and then that, the play at the end, and I'm not even going to dwell on that one. But honestly, I think the defense did really well against him tonight. Offensively, I think defensively, Goodland did a good job of planning for the Bronx and their running game. Coulter, everything he earned tonight, everything he got, he earned.
You are absolutely right. I felt like their defensive game plan was really sound against us, and they made us work for the yards, and we really missed. We needed some big plays. We had a couple there, obviously the one late with Ross, but we needed a couple big chunks, and we struggled to get those down the stretch.
I don't know what would be worse. Maybe a team that had all the opportunities and still come up short, or never having the opportunities at all. I don't know. I still feel encouraged with this football team. They had some opportunities, didn't take advantage of it, but they gave themselves the chances, I guess. So I think that's where I feel good about this football team. Even though they walk off losing this football game, I still think they created a lot of things for themselves tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's key. This hurts, and obviously losing always stinks. And the message in the huddle, we tell the kids, let it hurt. Let it hurt tonight, let it hurt Saturday, and then flush it on Sunday, and then let's go to work on Monday. And hopefully this hurts enough to motivate us on Monday, because guess who's coming to town, Brett? You know what?
Another GWAC school.
We got another GWAC school. And it's became one of those games. It's a tight game again, too.
Exactly.
So, our kids are going to have to bounce back.
Exactly. And next week is also a big game with homecoming. Hopefully that doesn't become a distraction for them. But tough loss tonight, but the Broncs do walk out of here still ahead in the record department. So that's definitely where the Broncs want to be.
Yeah. You know what? That's it. You know, this is just what we got to do. This is going to let this burn tonight.
Well, our player of the game, I gave it to Ross Ryder tonight. And, of course, there's always 2 or 3 decisions that we can make, and I'm sure a couple that were in my mind, they'll have their opportunities coming up as well. But Ross with that big play at the end and was all over the field tonight. So I gave it to Ross, and if you wouldn't mind giving that to him, I sure appreciate it.
You bet. We gave him a big workload tonight on defense, you know, when we were going to travel with number 3, and I felt like maybe with the exception of one play, I felt like we really hung in there with him and made him earn his yards, so we're happy for Ross.
Well, Coach, I know it's a tough one to come up here tonight, but I always appreciate it when you take the time to visit with us, and looking forward to a big week next week with homecoming. Going to be a big one.
Get back at home. Ready to go home.
Can't wait to be home. Coach, safe travels home. We'll talk to you next week.
You too, Brett. We sure appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Coach Chris Bamberger, once again, the Broncs lose tonight by the score of 16-14, and they see their record fall to 2-1 as Goodland wins their first of the year. Their record goes to 1-2. Well, that's going to wrap it up from here in Goodland. I want to thank all the great sponsors who make Lakin Broncs Sports YouTube possible. Without them, I guarantee you, we couldn't be here. We couldn't have been here at all, much less in our 17th year. So I want to thank our cameraman tonight, Brian Romero. Did a good job as well. J.D. Ham, our tech support, I tell you what, he just does it all for us. And could never have done it without him, that's for sure. So, J.D., thank you very much. And for everybody else, thank you very much. The staff at Goodland here, A.D. Marty Lehman, thank you. We were outside tonight. Mother Nature, I guess I need to thank Mother Nature more than anything. Kept us dry and had to sit outside here. But a wonderful night here other than Broncs losing it by the score of 16-14. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Everybody have a great weekend. We're back on the air next Friday. Pregame 6:30, kickoff at 7 o'clock with the homecoming game against Cimarron. Till then, have a great weekend. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Well, that wraps things up for today's Lakin High Sports Coverage. Be sure to join us for the next big Lakin High Sports Contest, brought to you by the KCB Bank of Lakin and Garden City, the agency of Lakin and Garden City, your full-line insurance agency, Lakin Hay and the Lakin Dairy, Forever Ipsima, Shelter Insurance, Gwen Wechter, East Highway 50, Lakin, Lashbacks Diner, West Highway 50, Lakin, the Golden Plains Credit Union, life with a touch of gold, the Lakin Recreation Commission, Lakin Drug, 610 O'Laughlin, Lakin, Shorty's Cafe, Main Street, Lakin, the Kearney County Economic Development, Ralph Goodnight, Pioneer Communications of Southwest Kansas, Hendricks Welding, Brad Hendricks, and D-Bach Metals of Lakin, player of the game, medal sponsor. Again, thanks, sponsors. Please let them know you appreciate what they do. We'll see you next time here on LakinSports.com.